everybody. Welcome to ChoZen Retreat here on the banks of the St. Sebastian River. I'm Tony Cho. I'm here with Ximena, my wife and co-founder and stewardess of ChoZen Retreat, our eco-retreat sanctuary here in Sebastian, Florida. This weekend we're going to be hosting a Regenerative Futures Retreat that is co-hosted by Future of Cities, which aims to impact the lives of 1 billion people through innovations in the built environment, our new platform that we launched in partnership with Oceanics, which is a UN Habitat-backed floating city concept, along with Bjarke Ingels and his BIG group, Big Architects and Master Planet. We're coming together with about 30 people from all over the world that are focused on regenerative development, that are focused on regenerative futures, that are focused on a civilization that works for 100% of life.
Happy to be here at ChoZen. Thank you, Tony and Ximena, for hosting us at this Regenerative Futures Retreat, where we're having a chance of talking about the future of cities, what that looks like from your incredible perspective, and how what we're working on also together on the ocean could help South Florida.
Florida, maybe with the amount of both economic but also sort of intellectual resources that have come in, actually is maybe at an incredible moment to maybe claim a kind of position of leadership and show how can you regenerate an ecosystem, how can you regenerate a city, and how can you respond to resiliency in ways that not only make the city and the landscapes more resilient, but also maybe more enjoyable and maybe in many cases more natural. We coined that term hedonistic sustainability, that the sustainable city or the sustainable building is not only good for the environment, it's also great for the people living in it, that it's actually more enjoyable and more desirable.
70% of global climate change emissions are coming from cities and urban settlements around the world. And I was fascinated when we did Orlando's carbon footprint to learn that building energy use, energy that's used in our buildings both on-site with gas for heating and cooking and space heating, as well as the electricity consumed and the emissions factor associated, 72% of Orlando's operational carbon footprint. My thought has been, how do we start to now use entrepreneurship to drive policy changes within our communities and move towards this philosophical future we're trying to get towards. In Orlando, we have started to look at our building codes and require minimum levels of green building certifications.
The number of people moving to coastal cities between now and 2060 is staggering. I think, Bjarke, on your slide, you talked about 6.5 billion people in cities, but to put that into context, 9 out of the 10 largest megacities, cities of more than 10 million, are coastal. As a species, we keep moving towards coastal cities, and the rate at which we're doing it means that over the next 40 years, we need to double the built environment. And nobody knows how that's going to work from a material standpoint, water, energy, food, you name it. It's just completely unsustainable. So basically, coastal cities are at this front line of demographic pressure. And on the other side, you've got rising seas. It's literally an unstoppable force hitting an unmovable object. So what do you do now? And that's where floating cities, we believe, will be able to alleviate a lot of this pressure.
Floating cities are obviously not necessary now, but it's hard to imagine that they won't be a few decades from now. And it's a bit late to start experimenting with floating cities when your life depends on it.
I was inspired by Bjarke's talk earlier, right? Hedonistic sustainability, because if it's not as good, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, the UN can shove it down your throat as much as they want. No one's going to do it if it's not actually better, right? So how do you make it actually better? It's a question of incentive design. It's a question of building feedback loops that cause human behavior and cause them to create a flywheel that makes people behave in a certain way.
This is where I want to live here, is that Web3 is a toolkit for building resilient communities, and came up with kind of 3 categories here for that type of resilience. economic resilience, energy resilience, and cultural resilience.
We want balance, we want equality, we want economic balance, we want environmental balance, we want regenerative agriculture and a healthy and balanced world. We could actually create that together if we had a cohesive network that we could make decisions on and execute on together. So that was the birth of FIRON and FIRON Global Partners.
It's unimaginable until it's just the way the way it is, right?
Right. We're prototyping the future. As Bucky Fuller said, don't fight the existing system, create a new system that makes the old system obsolete.